So what is a tariff and who can request a tariff?
Well, and it's really kind of simple. In its simplest terms, it's a tax on a good that would be imported into the United States. And who can apply for those really is any company that is doing business in the United States that has foreign competition. And so it opens it up to a wide variety of people that would have the ability to request a tariff on some sort of a good.
So CF Industries is an American company and they had wanted a tariff in place. Why would they want that in place?
So they sell UAN, so nitrogen fertilizer. They own about 50% of the market share in the United States. Really, their only competition comes from outside the United States. So they would want a tariff so that they could avoid having that competition coming into the United States. Look, this is the most recent example of another tariff that most people know about is on steel. The U.S. steel industry had a concern that other countries were subsidizing their steel industry. They were selling cheap steel to the United States in an unfair way. So the United States put a tariff or a tax on imported steel. The result always of a tariff, remember, always the result is increased price for the consumer in the United States. So anytime we put a tariff on it, it's to protect a company in the United States, but the result's going to be we're going to pay more for that good. And steel is a great example. We all saw it. On farms, we paid more for grain bins, we paid more for buildings, we paid more for equipment. So when we bought, tractors, combines, grain carts, they all made of steel. They all cost more because of that. CF Industries' tariff on fertilizer, same thing, same result was going to happen. The consumer, in this case, though, is not everybody who uses steel. That's a wide variety of people. In this case, CF's tariff was going to fall only on the backs of U.S. farmers, people who buy fertilizer. So that is what we said, that's not fair. This is not a normal tariff. There's so few people that are the customers of this one, and and there was also a whole lot of concentration in this industry. There's just not a lot of competition. So CF, we said this is not fair. We don't like what you're doing, and we started to publicly try to undo some of this work that they have done on getting a tariff.
So it would have cost the American farmer a lot more money on things that the prices are already rising and they're already feeling that crunch. And this would have really just made that so much worse. So national corn growers, we're not gonna take this, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down fighting,
Yeah.
and our members deserve that, So, but you're right. There are other things that impact the price. There was the supply chain disruptions that every industry saw. Well, I don't care if it's fertilizer or tennis shoes. We saw difficulty in the supply chain. Fertilizer had that too. So compounding that with a new tariff from a company that had 50% market share already, it was just, we couldn't stand for it. So we went to work to try to undo that. The process to get a tariff, it's really, not many people know about it because there's no normally when you have regulations, there are public comment periods. Everyone gets an opportunity to go and have their voice heard. In this case, to put a tariff in, it's relatively quiet. It's a kind of a private process that goes through the International Trade Commission, the ITC. There are hearings in that. We had to find out where those were, make a request so that we could testify at those, and we did. We did through our national affiliation with the National Corn Growers Association. We were the only farm organization to show up at the hearing. We knew it was a long shot, and something amazing happened. We actually won. We actually got the tariff denied from the ITC. It was shocking, really. I was very surprised. I thought the deck was stacked against us. But again, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down swinging. So we showed up, we went to bat, and it all turned out very well for our members.
And it's a great example of what happens when growers band together through an association like that. That there's opportunities and a little bit of some strength in numbers there to go to bat against issues like that. So prices are still really, really high. We know that, but let's walk through how much higher those prices could have been if that tariff had been put in place. We would have been paying so much more for for that fertilizer?
Yeah, so we did a study. It was down at Texas A&M with an economist down there, Joe Outlaw. He did the study. Happy to show anybody that study. The bottom line, though, if we go through all the math on this, if you are growing 500 acres of corn in Ohio, a conservative estimate of Dr. Outlaw is that you would save about $13.89, approximate $13.89 per acre. So on 500 acres, we're talking $7,000 a year savings. And a tariff, by the way,
It's just 1 year.
that's right. If
Yeah.
you get it, if CF got this tariff, it would have been in effect for 5 years. So it would have been $7,000 for 5 years. We're talking $35,000 that did not show up on the price. Now, I know farmers know that the price of fertilizer still is very high. I'm saying it would have been $7,000 worse for a 500-acre farmer. You can do the math for any size farm, however many acres you
Sure.
farm. Multiply that by $13
Yeah.
and 89 cents, or let's round up to $14. Multiply your acreage by $14. That's how much more our fertilizer prices would have been had this tariff gone through.
I feel like it's very rare that we have a win like this that we can really quantify in dollars for a bottom line. So it's really nice to be able to see with some research, this is how much this one action saved you.
Yeah, as an association, I wish there was this type of a ROI on
Yeah.
everything that we do, because there's just so many different wins. They're not all quantifiable, but this one certainly is. And it kind of makes that $100 a year membership in Ohio Corn and Wheat, it makes it a pretty good bargain.